Hello, I'm Chubby Muffin, and today I'll be on film review episode 13, the cult film of 2010 to the decade, of course, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Quick facts: directed by Edgar Wright, known for doing Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Paul, and it's based on Brian Lee's graphic novels or comic book series, of course. It's just it's to see what they say it's a comedy film. So yeah, let's have a look. So first of all, it's basically a 22-year-old from Canada, Toronto. He is dating a high schooler. He is just living his own boring life. He wants to be a hero to people, but his friends just don't see him in that way. But of course, he is invited to parties by his friend, bandmate, Stephen Stills. I like the way how they showed references to Crosby, Stills and Nash by young Neil, because of Neil Young and all. Because they're Canadian. Well, Neil Young is. But they invited Jules' party and all, and of course, Scott Pilgrim's having these dreams about Ramona Flowers, who's just having these idiotic dreams. Before that, of course, he has his gay roommate, Wallace Wells, and he normally has to sleep out somewhere else, or he sleeps in, and has to hear his gay dreams and thoughts. It's, of course, right at the time, he is just going through the town, and he is going through a hard time because of his one-year breakup from Evie Adams, because she's in the band. I can't remember the name, but the Clash of Demon Head. That's right, Clash, and he's going through a hard time and heartbreak through it. So he's having these dreams, of course, again of Ramona, and he meets her at a party, at Jules' party, and so then he is just talking to her about Pac-Man and all, and it was just an idiotic way to speak to someone. He talks to her about a dream, and he tells her to leave her alone, and that's basically it. Of course, he follows her around the party till she leaves. He then speaks to his friend Young Neil to tell her about the girl is real. He speaks to people like Cuomo and all about people like them. Then it ends off with he's picking up his girlfriend again, his 17-year-old Knives Chow from a Catholic school with uniform and everything, and it's just his life is just getting boring with her again because he's just dating a 17-year-old. He just wants to be Ramona, and he meets. Well, of course, before that, he sees her at the library and all, on the roller skates or ice skates or whatever, and and it's just do not sit signs. It's basically going on with the graphic novel or comic book, but in its own way, the film has missed so much from the series of the comic books and graphic novels. To be honest, it would have been best if it went to like a 2.5 hour movie. No, sorry, not that long. What about 2 hours and 10 minutes? In that 23 minutes, you could fit a lot more in. And I think they should have done that. Yeah. So then it goes to where he dumps Knives Chow. It goes well with the book also because it just, the way they do the scenes and angles, it goes well with the book. So he dumps Knives Chow, and then it's... That's right, he orders something on Amazon.ca, and he gets a threatening message from Matthew Patel. So then he deletes it, he gets bored from it, of course. He gets his Amazon stuff from Ramona Flowers and asks her if you just want to hang out, since he's lived there all his life and she's new, and they talk about Mario Kart and all, something. Not Mario Kart, but something about Mario, or she talks about space, time and all. I don't know, I can't remember. So they talk, and and just talk about their lives and why you're coming over, about getting golden graves and all, and G-Man and whatever. Then starting to get cold in April, and then they go into Ramona's house apartment by finding just a door comes up, and that was strange, but he is freezing. She asks for tea. The amount of tea that is in this. Let me just read this out. It's quite shocking, the amount of tea that was in here. Blueberry, raspberry, ginseng, sleepy time, green tea with lemon, green tea without lemon, green tea with lemon and honey, liver disaster, ginger with honey, ginger without honey, vanilla almond, white truffle coconut, chamois, blueberry chamois, decaf, vanilla walnut, constant comment, and Earl Grey. That's a lot of tea, and she chooses sleepy time. Before I talk more about this, I just want to say I watched this a few years ago, and I had no idea I never knew about the comic books, graphic novels. It was requested by my brother, because he requested it by his friend. So I watched it, and I had no idea what it was about. I was just also intrigued, because I just really like the way they did the front covers and all, or whatever. So after the tea, of course, then they make sex there for sexual intercourse. Well, they don't. They don't really have sex. They just make out. Wake up. Then it's time for the band. Then she meets him at the band. I forgot what it's called now. Sorry. Knives Chow, his sister's boyfriend, Wallace, the band, whatever. Crash and the boys are there, and also it's just it was quite confusing at that time first, but now that they play in this song Garbage Truck, Matthew Patel comes in. They fight for quite a bit, talking about pirate suits and the past. I like the part where it edits out into the part where it is from a comic book, but it's shown as like a story part. It's a video from Ramona Flowers and Matthew Patel when they were kids. And they start fighting, talking about demon hipster chicks, tell Matthew. Then it goes... Well, Matthew Patel is dead then, because... I don't know, he jumps up in the sky or something, and does a KO on him. Then after that, they go into the bus and realise that if he wants to date her, he has to defeat the 7 evil ex-boyfriends. Sorry. And after it goes on to another part where I'm going to skip the whole him Ramona thing again. Then it goes on to the part where he meets Chris Evans. I forgot his character, but then they go into the fight because he's a skateboard actor or something, and they carry on fighting. But if he doesn't do it in front of the chicks, they might find him cool. So he goes on to this skateboard bar and goes like 360 odd miles per hour. And dies into a garbage truck thing or whatever. I find it funny first. It's just pause. He's going miles per hour, and it's just the whole wow thing, you know. So he's dead, of course. And of course she leaves the whole thing. Sake. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. That's right. Then he gets a call from Evie Adams about how's your life and all, and then she knows about Ramona. Then they meet in a coffee shop, whatever. And they just talk about Evie Adams and all. And then that time where they have another band practice, they meet Evie Adams, the Clash of Demon Head or whatever, backstage and all, because Knives Chow is getting very jealous, dating young Neil, and she's changing her hair and the way, her style, whatever. So Todd, the boyfriend, the third evil ex-boyfriend, he punches Knives and there's a huge fight going on. But the only way to destroy him is by him drinking stuff or eating stuff that is not vegan. So he does, and vegan police take him down. He smashes his head into him. But then the fourth evil ex-boyfriend, that was kind of annoying for me first when I first watched it, because if it's a boyfriend, why is it a woman? It's the fourth one. Did they do something? Did she talk about something? It's implied, you know. You don't know really. She's just a sword fighting lady, but in the film, she's just got this weird sharp belt. I didn't like that. That was stupid. You know, and that never happened. Well, actually, it did, but it never happened in her head. And the whole Knives Chow's dad in the graphic novel, sorry, but in the film, it's just the part where she saves his ass again. Then he says that their relationship can work out after he destroys the two twins, the two twins that you know, the keyboard source, wherever. So after that, he says that I'm in lesbians with you, and that was awkward at the time. But then, after he destroys the two twins, the band and all, she then goes with Gideon Gordon Graves. And he's very sad, depressed, and lonely. Then he gets a good advice again from his gay roommate, Wallace. Then he decides to go to defeat Gideon Gordon Graves. I'm just going to say Gideon for now. Then there's a huge sword fight and all. But then he dies because he gets the love sword, and he gets that sword on the front of the cover. He dies, you know. He's in this another idiotic dream. Yeah, cool. And then he comes out again, and he replays it all over again. I like the part where it is a funny film. It is a comedy. But, then he destroys Gideon Gordon Graves again, with the whole Knives Chow fighting and all, and game over. By defeating Gideon Gordon Graves, he then sets off another test by Nega Scott. I think it's Nega or Mega? Nega Scott. Yeah. But it turns out they get on very well. I feel like Jonathan Ross now. Very well. But now that's the part when I first watched it, I was really annoyed that they were talking about that they weren't right for each other. And then Knives Chow was on about that I'm too cool for you anyway. And then Scott meets them, and they start over again by walking the door. To be honest, I kind of find it sad when I read the end of the graphic novel or comic book. I just feel sad from it. You know, from all those 6 years of going through reading it, and that's the end. It's quite sad, but it's the best way you can end a graphic novel or a film. By reading them again, it's disappointing to know that they missed a lot out of the film. But it was a good film of the 21st century and this decade, 2010 to 2015 or wherever. It's a good film. And I'm going to give this an 8 and an 8.5. 8.5. I'm giving it an 8.5, yeah? Good. 8.5 out of 10. Now that was film review 13. And that was called Pilgrim vs. the World. I'm Chubby Muffin, your host. I'm saying goodbye. Please like and subscribe. It does me a huge fucking favour, and I get really proud about it. So, have a nice day, God bless, and stay safe. Thank you, guys. Sorry I've been a little bit slow and tired, but I have a cold, and I'm really annoyed about it. So, goodbye.